right, Grand Rising, welcome and greetings. You are tuned into the Peak Wellness Hour. Those children look like they needed some sleep before going back on their first day of
And
school.
they do. And they do. In my line of work, I come across families. I had the opportunity to talk to not a couple, quite a number of children. And everybody's greatest concern, and one of the reasons they are not ready to go to school is, gosh, they have to wake up early. The summer vacation was amazing. They were sleeping anytime, waking up at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. No, they don't want to wake up at 6 o'clock and be on their way to school. They
No.
sleep.
Well, we're going to talk about it here today, you all. It is August, so we're definitely back into school for everybody that has children. If you know somebody that has children, it's school time is here. So be careful, be mindful of those school zones. Things are happening, and we have to be very careful when we have our children out. We have to be careful with children, anyways, just jumping out all over the place. So be mindful of school zones. Those ticket fees are high. But we're going to talk about all that in just a moment. You're tuned into the Peak Wellness Hour. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bring a friend in. We're going to have a great conversation, even though we're here a little bit later than we're supposed to be. It's going to be a great
whole
conversation.
lot later. Not a
Yes.
bit, a whole lot.
Absolutely. But we're going to make it worth your while. At least try. So invite somebody to join us. We are giddy today. I think this joy should have been on the last conversation last week because we are full of joy and happiness today. And I hope you all are too. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. So, yes, here we are, the Peak Wellness Hour. We are talking about back to school tips and tools for you all. It's going to be an interesting conversation because Queen Edith and I do not have children in school any longer. And I know how it was when I did. I don't know about your cost, Queen, but I know it was quite pricey for my children to go to school. But nonetheless, and you all know I am a new empty nester. My youngest will be 21 uh, in a couple days. So it's going to be interesting to see. I forget sometimes about the school zones because he's not in school. And so I don't have to pay attention. And so driving for a living, August approaches and I see those yellow flashes, I'm like, oh, don't, we're back. We're back in school. So for all of you that do not have children, like I said, if you know someone that has children, bring them in this conversation. We're going to try to be strategic and help you all and just give some information about the real cost of having children in school. So, Queen, and not to scare anybody, we're gonna make it positive because it can be stressful. It can, but we're gonna take a positive spin on this, where you all can be motivated, where we all can be motivated and help one another. Even as a community, we have neighbors that are children and making sure they're getting off okay and everything's okay with them. So we're gonna talk about all that. So, Queen, go ahead. Do it.
Hello, 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 hello. Happy middle of the month, August 15th, right here in the middle, 15th and 16th. And let me digress a little bit. Queen G and I haven't talked all weekend. Sometimes that's just how it goes, right? But we get here. Believe you me, we have been in the back room talking for over 30 minutes, just talking and being silly. Oh, how I wish I could have give you glimpses of some of the things we talk about, the laughter, the craziness, but it kills a whole lot of stress and it's very relaxing. But it's a beautiful day. I know it's raining. And to all the families right here in Indiana, please be safe. Because yes, last night there was a vigil held somewhere in Muncie for a 19-year-old boy who was, I don't know whether they haven't found him yet. Four friends went out were taken by the rainstorm. Three have been found, one was not found. So whilst we're here thinking back to school and all of that stuff, coming to talk to back to school, which is very important, and we're going to make it positive, please remember to keep safe. If it's not possible to drive the flood, the things, please keep home, stay home, keep your children safe. That's the first thing, better safe than sorry. And summer suddenly seemed to go out the window, right? Because it's all those rain the whole week. Storms, lightning, thunder. So be careful. But we're excited to talk to you about back to school. I've had some amazing experiences because I have never had a child in America, and but I've had families who have children, and this year especially, I've had the opportunity to work firsthand with families who have children going to school, children going to school, and the stories are, I think, for me, intriguing, whilst it could also be stressful financially. Where I come from in Ghana, we paid at the time school fees. When my son was going to school, I paid school fees. So on top of the school, and I put my son through private schools. So the financial burden alone was another story. But we're gonna dig in. Invite a friend, someone who has children, somebody who is a grandmother, grandparent. Invite them and let's all have a very positive, uplifting conversation. I promise you will bring you some laughter as well.
Even by accident.
Yes, share this video from your YouTube. Go like us on YouTube, follow us on YouTube, and of course, share it to all your friends. We appreciate that your support. Okay, and we're really sorry we're late. Forgive us.
Let me ask you a question, Queen. Please forgive us, y'all. Okay, so I think a lot of parents, especially with kindergartners starting out, you mentioned the school fees and the registration fees, and that's something that a lot of parents don't think about. When you're having to go back to school, and it's a big deal. And having all the children that we had to learn at some point in time that, and I want to tell you all, just in case you all don't know, pay your dues to these schools, because if you don't, it catches up with you, and they don't let your children graduate if you don't pay those fees. I thought that was wild. You're holding people's diplomas hostages, but they really mean that. So I think it's really important to know what resources are out there. Textbook assistance, lunch assistance. I used to be embarrassed to have as a child it's because you have like the little voucher or however it worked, and you don't want people to know that you have textbook assistance, or textbook rental. Let's make that clear, rental assistance. And they're reusing these books over and over. We're sharing books. I enjoyed having textbook rental assistance when I could with my children, and then when I could not, it was like, wow, it was so expensive. And now you have the laptops, you have the electronic devices. It's a lot. It's a lot. The earbuds now, I think the earbuds are a big thing, right? So
They are, and what I'm learning is that a lot of there's this is a K-12, K-1 to 12 school, which is online, and I'm coming across kids who do not even want to interact with other kids. And for that reason, they're
Mm-hmm.
choosing to go to school online. So I'm questioning what's happening to social skills.
It's a good point.
They're going to school online, they're on the screen, and sometimes they have different programs. Some of them, all you need to do is to be able to go to class 2 hours a day, so you don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to be in the live class. Get your work done at the end of every day, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. You don't have to interact with other kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. I do understand that we want to give our children what they want, but what about the interactions,
Mm-hmm.
the human connection? There's more outside family,
Yes.
you know, and that's one of the things that also I worry about. Our children are becoming too antisocial,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, I know someone who says, "Put me in the middle of the deepest, where there's 100,000 yards or 100,000 acres, and there's nobody around me."
Mm-hmm.
What are we becoming?
Yeah. It's very interesting. You know, even like with the sports, I know parents that have had their children homeschooled, and they did, and I asked about sports. How does that work? And they do
Good
sports,
morning,
but
Queen Rada,
there's what?
Queen Mother Rada. Good morning, Queen Mother Kathy. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes, yes, to both you queens. Um, what was I saying? Oh, with the sports, I think a lot of times when you're playing sports in school together, like you're in school, of these children, and these children are just kind of getting together on these teams, and then they were going their own separate ways. So even that's different anymore. Like it's totally different, totally different. I don't know.
Right, and these sports activities and stuff, and all the extra curricular activities teaches children
Hmm.
ways to interact with different groups, and also to team play.
Hmm.
Okay, come together and solve a thing, do a project together, working together as a team. It prepares them for the work world. But even the work world is going, some places are just,
Different
people
groups
are
and
just
also
working
team.
remotely.
Hmm.
People are just working. So we are talking about back to school, and we are not digressing, because back to school means some of the kids are going in physically, some of them are going to school electronically.
Hmm.
Not everybody is going to school physically. So how do we prepare our children for back to school? And not only that, but for them, for those who are going to school electronically, how do we get them to develop social interactions, become great team players, especially if they don't have a big family, if there's only a one child in the family
Hmm.
kind of thing? How do we help them develop, what do you call that thing, social interaction, so they the whole human being is developed, because it's
Hmm.
not just about academics.
Right.
Okay, can we have a hybrid system where they can go to the classroom once a week, twice a week, and do the rest online, so that there is that interaction? They don't have to do too much of what they don't want. Or is it that we're giving our children too much leeway?
That's what I was going to ask you. Why are they doing online learning? That's a big question.
It's
Because I think there's a difference between doing online learning and being homeschooled by a parent, where there's interaction and there's oversight. You know what I'm saying? But if they're, I don't know, especially with teenagers, I don't know why they, no, not just especially with teenagers. I don't know what the reason would be right now to elect to be at home doing virtual learning unless there is some kind of issue, whether it's bullying or um, uh, I don't disability type kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know, you research the school K1 to K12, and I think, and the people all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's good in a sense, but if the reason is to avoid being around people, I mean, they're bullying schools. It has to be talked about. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
dealt with. We got to figure out. But there's bullying at work. It
Mm-hmm.
may not be similar to what is at school, but it's almost the same concept. Figure out a way to bully back, talk, talk about people, do all kinds of things, make somebody feel bad. It's all, we deal with it everywhere we go,
Mhm.
whether in college, whether in elementary, high school, middle school, or there's bullying everywhere. It comes in different ways, but there's bullying, and it's part of life. How do we teach our children ways to deal with it and overcome it? And how do we deal with the children themselves who are bullying? What is making them even go that way?
Mhm.
Okay, so well, let's dive in. Back to school. We already started this, making it interesting and letting people think. When we think of back to school, everybody's not carrying a backpack, running to the bus stop, waking up at 6 a.m. Everybody's not doing that.
Mhm.
But what are some of the ways we can make it easier on both parents and kids?
I think a schedule is so important. I think routine is so very important. Structure is very important. And it really, to be honest, is something that should go on all year round, even in, during summer vacation, spring breaks, fall breaks. It should be consistent because it's easier for you to get in the groove. When our children are out of whack, where because it's summertime and it's okay for them to be up till 2 o'clock and sleep till 2 o'clock, and we're going on with our days, we're working, we're doing whatever we're having to do. We're in sync, but they're not. And so when, those few days before it's time to get them back going, a lot of parents are frustrated because they don't just snap back into the routine. The diet is out of whack. The exercise, the you got the brain fog, whatever's going on there. And you just can't snap it back into action for them. So having a structured lifestyle, just in your family unit, is very important, and being consistent with that. So with homework, if you're doing the homework after school, you're doing the study time, and now you don't have it in the summertime. Well, what are we replacing it with? How about reading? How about journaling? Just to kind of keep things in sync, and not to take away fun. Reading is fun. Find a good book. Reading is fun. You know what I'm saying? Art, or being artistic is fun. There's different things you can do to keep them engaged and interactive and active throughout the year. So I think that's something very important to consider. And again, that diet where they're not slumped over, you've been eating snacks and trash all summer, you know, nothing healthy in your body. It takes a toll on your body, even when you're young. And, they bounce back with some resilience. I love the youngsters. They bounce back, but it still takes a toll on their bodies, as far as being motivated, all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it's a question I've asked. Why can't we keep the routine? Like we all gonna wake up at least 8 o'clock, and do our morning chores, have breakfast together, and then you can have a little time of reading, a little go out there, socialize, play, do something, and then come back and take a nap if you need to, and then continue so that the summer is not, like you said, out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's I realize I'm learning that it's really huge that these children are struggling to get back into routine. I guess the first week, the first 2 weeks, it will always be a struggle. Mom or dad or whoever is in charge, the caregiver, has to wake up early and wake some of the children up 4 times, yell
Mm-hmm.
at them, scream at them, get up, get up, get up, so often. So it's very important. There's something that my thing is dying. There's something that I really want to touch on. One of the experiences I have had through the children, excuse me, forgive me for this. One of the experiences I've had is that children want to go to school and talk about vacation, what they did during the holidays. And that is putting a lot of financial stress on families too.
Mm-hmm.
Because as people will come and say, we went here, we traveled here, we did this, we did that. What about the parent who does not have the financial resources to do such things with their children? What do they go back to talk about? Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about that.
I'm gonna let you talk about it. I don't know, because I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, we didn't travel like that. But I know I tell you how much, we were growing up, we were always outdoors. There was always someone to be outdoors, there was always a bike, there was always a park, and so times were different today where there really isn't anything for these children to do. I don't know about everybody else's cities, but Indianapolis and Indiana, it's tough to find youth things to do
Is
that
it?
are accessible and that are affordable.
Mm.
The why there's all kinds of YMCA's, but if you don't have $100 a month for a family membership, then it doesn't apply to you. So
Yeah.
I mean, you have the splash pads in the parks now, and high five to Indy Parks, but can you get to the
True.
park? So things like that.
So the parks, like I have a very able and right hand woman who has children. So I'm learning through some of the little dynamics of having
Mhm.
children, and they had to travel out of state to do some events. They had to do things so the children will have a story to tell.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not saying that's a financial strain on her. I'm not saying it was. I'm saying that looking at the world of parenting through her eyes, what if a parent does not have that resource? Because it's a huge deal now among the children,
Mhm.
even kindergarten children, 8-year-old.
Mhm.
I love these children. I love the girls. Girl, they know when you're holding a fake design and a real design. They'll tell you, mommy, this is fake, but it's okay, right? They know it. They know our children are exposed,
Mhm.
and they have this high taste. How do we reel them into the realities of life?
Mhm.
Okay, because going back to school, having conversations, bullying, forcing, forming these little cliques,
Mhm.
letting one girl feel like an outsider, they don't belong, going with Instagram and all these places.
Mhm.
How do we ensure that our children are confident in who they are when they go back to school, irrespective of where they live, irrespective of their pockets, irrespective of whether they wear designer shoes and designer and have the best hairstyle
Mhm.
and all of that? How do we ensure that our children know their value is not about what is in their pockets or what
Mhm.
is on their bodies?
Well, now I think it's more difficult because like I said my youngest will be 21, right? And so with them, my 28 and 21-year-old, it was a weird time in school space, okay, where they could wear, it was okay for them to wear the buddies or the hand-me-downs, that group of kids, they weren't picking on children like that anymore. It was something different going on, where like for me growing up, it was everything, pick the hair, pick the teeth, pick the shoe size, whatever it was. But these children right there in that age group kind of experience something different. But now you have the ones like you're talking about, and you've got, like you said, the TikTok and the Instagram where you're asking about going on vacation, but you've got people on social media that are renting out Airbnbs and hotel spaces and making videos telling you that you can make all this money doing. You can live. Look, you can live like this. Look behind me. Look at all this stuff behind me. Look at the ocean. This is not your stuff. And you're lying to people, enticing people, and it's not your lifestyle. Look at this bag. That's not your bag. That $12,000 bag is not your bag. So when you have, my point is, when you have children making up stories, trying to make up a facade of a life, it's because they see adults doing it and it looks acceptable. And it's a lie. No, we didn't go anywhere, but I bet you these lights are on. I bet you, we've eaten 3 meals there, or whatever it is. We have to get comfortable with talking to our children. Grand Rising, Queen. And I don't think it's something where we should tell our children, well, we can't go here because we don't have this, because in all actuality, they don't care because they don't understand. It's not for children to understand a parent's financial issues. And in first grade, second grade, the fact that you can't buy these shoes, it's not computing in their head. All they know is they need this thing. They should have this thing. They want this thing. And so they're not understanding the struggles. So maybe doing things where it's not always costly, like, doing picnics in the park. You all know I love going when the jazz music's at the park for free. I'm out there like 4 flat tires, I'm not gonna tell you them about a $300 ticket to go see Usher.
4 flat tires.
4 flat tires. I'm down. I probably won't go spend $300 to go see Usher though. You know what I'm saying? But I can have a good time. So my point is, you can have a good time with your children, and it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg, and you can make memories that make sense to them. And they're not gonna say, "Well, you just took me to the park with the free concert." All they know is they got to go to a concert. You see what I'm saying? With the finances, it don't equate like that to them. So. Yeah.
That is so basically this is what we are saying. How we are preparing our children to go to school, and it's not only academically, but emotionally, mentally, physically, and socially, and academically. Okay. And while we are doing all of that, parents and guardians need tools. Okay, parents and guardians. So basically, everything we have said is an introduction. How do we prepare them? The backpacks is there. We've got the backpacks. We've got the uniforms. Some schools wear uniform, and I don't even want to talk about the ones who don't wear uniform. Driving around, going to work, because these days I'm leaving home a little earlier than usual. And Queen, seeing some of the dressing that these kids are taking to school, I am so sorry, but the question is, where are their parents? Did the parents see them before they left the house to go to the bus stop? How do we? Maybe it's cultural. I do not know. Maybe it's cultural, but I do not know. But wearing shorts that's literally looking like an underwear, your butt cheeks are halfway showing. This is not the swimming pool.
And I don't know about you. When I was growing, like, you had to wear like your pants or skirt or whatnot had to be like arms like to the tips of your fingers, right? So like you put your hands to the side, and it couldn't be shorter than your fingertips. Did you have that? Like you couldn't wear things short.
Your knee.
Yeah, so
under your kneecap, not above it. I has to go under the knee.
And they would call your parents. You're going home. You're going to the office. You're going home. You cannot stay here like that. I grew up
in Ghana where you have no choice. You wear uniform.
Well, see, yeah,
we wear uniforms. It's not even an option where you're wearing regular clothes. No, you wear a uniform. Oh gosh, I have to find you some of our uniforms. We wear a uniform. You wear an open toe shoe, or we had something called bata, brown, buckled. No, we wear a uniform from head to toe. Your hair, because we were mostly Africans. We had a few foreigners among us because some of the schools we went to. But the point is, it's not an option. My mother made my uniforms. My mother made my sister's uniforms. If the school made it, they measured you, made sure it was beneath your knee. Period. Our uniforms were custom made for us. So it's that how your hand, your finger, it will never go underneath your knee. So so that's why I said there are cultural elements. Okay. There are cultural elements to this. Uniforms. And I've seen some schools here that wear uniforms, and it's beautiful because some of the clothes you wear. So you need to, if a mother who cares about how their children look, if there's a mother that, then that woman is shopping appropriate outfits, right? And she's ensuring that these teenage girls are wearing those or not hiding another thing inside their purses or their school bags, right? Because we've all been teenagers before, right? Sometimes parents have the right clothes. Today you wear, okay, this and that. Which one are we wearing? These are your school outfits. We've made uniforms for you. And then the girl sneaks something in her purse and gets to school, goes to the bathroom, and changes. Right? Children do that. So we can't blame parents. Peer pressure is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So, how do we establish routines again when these children are back in school? They're running late because they can't find their clothes. They can't find their socks. They can't find their shoes. Half here, one there. I didn't pick out my clothes last night. So, mom, dad, who work all day, come back home late. Ensure that homework is done. Ensure that we've picked out our clothes the night before. Some people don't take showers every morning, but they'll take it at night, every day, every other day. I don't know about that, but once again, I had to shower twice a day, morning before I go evening. So, well, yes. So, however your routine is, make sure that these children have an understanding of it. So, in the morning, it's not too chaotic because it's not only the children going to school, but mom and dad also have to go to work.
And you know what though? You'll realize to anybody because I've had to learn that some things are like too little too late. But you realize as we're talking about these little people that are individuals that will grow up to be their own persons, you know, that when it comes to structure, how we are as adults partly plays into the fact of how we were brought up, you know, how we're structured now or lack of, how we're, you know, organized now or lack of, does reflect on some childhood foundations. And it doesn't mean that we can't change and evolve from those things. I'm saying that because we want to make sure that these little people that we have running around here that will one day think they can run the world and need to do so appropriately. So just keep that in mind that you're establishing lifelong behaviors and habits. So that's going to be important. I want to ask you about something because I know you brought up this conversation after talking with someone and finding out what they had to spend on going back to school. I want to address, and I know we've got some parents in here, Queen Betty raising her granddaughter, Queen Kathy, and her grandson. I love me some high school sports. I'm gonna go do some North Central football this year until it gets cold. Then I'm done. But what do you think about fundraisers? Because I've seen fundraisers. I had a young man come to my door last year. He lives down. There's like 2 doors down, 3 doors down. He plays baseball. He's a really quiet, timid young man, but he likes to kind of just chit chat and interact. He might be 13 or 14. I think he's about 14. And he came by and he had an older gentleman with him. I think he was like a sponsor, like they were a tutor or something, some sort, you know, very respectful young man. And he was raising money for whatever, the performing arts or whatever. I said, well, are you in any of this? He says, no, we're just raising money. And I'm looking at this $20 wrapping paper, this $50 chocolate. I'm like, I don't want any of this. And I noticed that with fundraisers, you only get about 10% of the sale. The school gets 10%.
Where does the rest go to?
It goes to the company. So say, I don't want to put anybody's name out there. Say, I don't know.
Say
Mickey's Candy Bars. Mickey's Candy Bars.
Or whatever.
So. Yeah, so Mickey's Candy Bars or, you know, Mickey's wrapping paper, they're selling it $50 a roll. you get the school gives $5, and Mickey's gets the rest of it. My point to that is these children are out here hustling. Really, they're really hustling for pennies that have nothing to do with them a lot of times. And you still have to pay out of pocket for your uniforms and for your equipment and all these things, whatever you're selling for.
That's literally free labor.
It is. It is.
That's
Why not do
literally
your own
free
fundraiser
labor.
though? Why wouldn't you do your own fundraiser as a parent? And I wish I would have thought about this as a parent, and it's not trying to hustle your children, but there are a whole lot of options that you could consider, and it could teach work ethic. It could be a family kind of thing where, like, if you did like a bake sale, you all know, like, not
Right.
I make t-shirts. If you and your children are making t-shirts and selling t-shirts, we've got the Alzheimer's walk coming up. That's a whole nother conversation. But if somebody's making Alzheimer's t-shirts or, veterans t-shirts or whatever, and selling those, like I said, the bake sale, if you're doing crafts, something like that, and you're pulling in money for your child to get their supplies, for your child to get, their equipment for, and their enrollment fee for sports. I think that's a brilliant idea.
I think that's a better idea. Families must come together, and families must come together and do something.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Invite the community. Everybody comes and maybe buy something, but all that money is going to the school. That makes more sense to me, like running my child around and then getting only 5%, the time, the effort. No, I think that's a ripoff. I mean, we love to support our kids, and we like them to do the fundraisers. We want to support them, but we want most of the money to go to them, not somebody else.
Yeah.
We want most of the money to go to the school that you are truly supporting. But if no.
Yeah.
That's child labor. That's I'm sorry, but that's free child labor.
It's very interesting.
I mean, rather than take my child around and sell these things $20, $50, I will try and give the school $100. This is for the school.
That's what I started doing. Spend the
time and steady, or do something. I'll give you a chore. If you do this chore, blah, 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 I will send. Because every child must have a chore at home, right? So rather than the regular chores, I'll give them a special project. If you can do this project in this house, then, or mow the yard, or whatever the project is, I will contribute this much to the school. You don't have to go out and knocking on doors. I get the work ethic.
Good idea.
I can teach you the work ethic right here. Or maybe there's a senior. I'm a senior worker. So there's a senior, Mrs. Tardy, a senior living next door. She works, or she's not even a senior. She's a nurse. Her husband's a nurse. They're going all day. They have little kids. They don't have time to mow the lawn. You can go ask them if you can mow their lawn for $10, or $20, or whatever it is, and use that. Find people who need help and support them. Take them to some of these senior facilities. Children with developmental challenges, volunteer their time. If you can spend 3 hours or a week with these kids volunteering and doing so, teach your child something and say, if you do that, then I will contribute this to the school and maybe even give you some 10% in your own pocket for your bank account.
Look at that tipping tool. I like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't see about all those things.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, what? 10%? I was like, get out of here. And I did. I had to stop.
Come and sing at Edith's church. Join the choir. Sing. That's a holiday project. I will put every week you do that, put $10 in your bank account, $20 in your bank account, and give the school $20 or $30. $20. And it is where we can see it.
Absolutely. I tell you one way, just a side note, how I'm going to spend my money this school year, since I don't have any children. My nephew also just graduated last year. So he does theater. And I love theater. I
Me
love
too.
play. I do. We're going to go to a play together. We're going to find a play together to go
You
to.
better. I'm gonna hold
I'm
you to
very
that.
serious.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I am serious. Next time I find
You
one,
know,
we're
I
going.
performed a lot as a child, right? I was
See,
in
I love
Ghana.
that.
I was on TV in Ghana, performing on TV. Yes, I
Oh, look
won
at you.
awards. Yes, I did. So I love drama. I love
I
theater.
want to find. I want to see that footage. I want to see that footage.
I even in my school, I used to write a lot of the school plays, and
Hmm.
sometimes I write a play and perform all of it. I've done one, you call it stand up, one person play, and
Hmm.
I wrote it and I called it the mirror.
Okay.
Somebody who had never seen a mirror, and one day the mirror comes in. Her husband brings in a mirror, and she thought she had a rival in the house, waking up and fighting that woman in the mirror all the time. It was comic, but I did it. I wrote it and I performed it. So yeah,
Oh, I love it. I want to
yeah. I mean,
see. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do this year. I'm going to play. I'm gonna go. I had to think about it because I don't want to be a creepster. Uh, as a parent that doesn't have any children in these schools, but I'm going to these kids, these children's high school plays. I will be in there every chance I get at Pike High School, and I think I might pop in North Central too. So let me know if you want to go. They do
I
such a
would
good
like to.
job.
I've performed all my life. It's very funny how, if theater and movies were like when I was growing, like what they are now, probably be in it. I don't know, but I think that in all my life I've been in the talking, debating, performing arts.
Mhm.
Dance culture, African dance culture. I can teach African arts, African dance. But there are a lot of dances that I do. I
Mhm.
was in all of. I loved that.
Mhm.
It's not strange that I'm talking so much. I'm preaching. I'm doing therapy. It's not this. I was born to use this.
I love it. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
I love theater.
I'd like you to conduct a play. I'd like to see you do a play. My
Oh,
cousin
I
does
would.
play.
I would sit here with you and go perform, and you will cry.
Oh my gosh. I'm at the
I
hook with this
can
girl.
cry for you to cry. It's in it. It's a gift.
I'm gonna have to hook you with this girl. I found her on Facebook, and my cousin was working with her, and she does indie films, and she's got a couple of them on Tubi. She lives here. Her name is Brittany. I'm gonna send her to you, but she does that. Yeah, it'd be cool together. Now that you don't have enough going on in your life, I want to see you do a
I
play.
love that. I love that. I don't have much going on. I could use more. But
Okay,
yeah.
so I want to read this. So, um, my granddaughter is very good in soccer, swimming, volleyball, piano, and clarinet. Whew, very talented. She's in all of them right now. Her school is big on selling trash bags, but I don't see the benefit from it. Yeah, I remember the trash bags too. Very expensive trash bags. They're big too. They're sturdy, aren't they? They're sturdy. So here's my question: How do parents handle all these different extracurriculars,
We're thinking
all these
alike.
activities? Yes, I'd like to know, how do you handle all the extracurriculars on all the different days? Some of them, overlap one another, and some of them you have to pick and choose where, you can't miss this one, but can you miss, where it's a grade system kind of, so how do you do that?
It's a good question. How, if there's a parent that I want to know, because I know you have 3 or 4 or 5 children, and we are all in something, and it's Monday through Sunday. They're playing
Mhm.
games on Sunday at the park, or Saturday and morning. This child is playing the morning. That child is playing the. Oh my goodness!
And
And
what's the thing
these
called when you
days,
go around, like where you're not like home, like where you go out of the city? What's that one called? I don't know because I couldn't do it.
playing out, playing away,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, like
Yeah.
where, yeah, you have all those children.
If you're a single parent, you have
Hmm.
to work. You have to, make sure you keeping the roof over the head, over their heads, and food on the table. And you have to do this. How do you manage?
Hmm.
How do you manage these? I want to know, mothers out there, fathers out there. Share. And if you're a single parent, I'd like to. But Queen Crystal, I've been inviting you and your sister. Well, I'm not holding you responsible. Your sister. I'm inviting your sister. But yeah, there's so many dances I can teach you. I mean, yeah, I love that. We can have fun.
Absolutely. Queen Betty says I have to
Have
use my Google Calendar and alarm clock, and thank God every day to see. Yes, yes, some gratitude's gonna go a long way
I
with that one.
don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. And on top of doctor's appointment, dental
Mm-hmm.
appointment, vision appointment, I do not know how
Mm-hmm.
you do it. But
Yeah.
let me ask this. Let me ask, how do you prepare your children back to school emotionally? A child who has been bullied before, a child who is a little curvy, where, today there's this image. Children are talking about other people's mamas. Your mama is fat, your mama is that, your
We still
daddy is.
doing mama jokes.
Children children and this is real. These children, I have no idea, but social media exposure is something else. How do we prepare our children emotionally for school? How do we do that?
I think that I'm sorry, I'm typing. I think that building confidence and security within the home is very important.
Mm,
Counteracting what's going on, what's being said on the outside, because we don't, and it's not to counteract what's happening directly, because a lot of times we don't know. A lot of times we don't realize that our children are watching things on social media and on TV, and it's not talking to them, but it's referring to them. Like you said, oh, the curvy girls, oh, the textured hair girls, oh, the short boys. It's tailor fit to cause insecurities, you know. And so nobody's talking about the way I look, but I'm watching this video, and this young lady,
it
these women
looks
look
like
like this, they look like that. So I don't fit in there. I don't know how, I don't see myself in that place. And you go in with that mindset, and a lot of times we don't know how our children are thinking in depth like that. So to be able to cover your children while in the home, build them up, when they're doing this, I'm proud of you. They did their chores. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. You did a great job. Somebody could say, well, that's what they're supposed to do, but it's building them up. The expectation that you're seeing is important for children. It's not just do this, do that. Being involved and intuitive with your children is going to set that up going moving forward, with anything in life.
one of the things I've learned to tell my clients is learn to have one-on-one time with each child, where they can open up to you, because you're right, validating them is very important. But children are learning that I'm your child. Of course you will validate me, you love me, I'm beautiful in your eyes. So it's about my friends. So having that opportunity once, twice a week, having that one-on-one time with each child, and exploring, because we already know what goes on out there. We may not know all the details, and exploring some of these situations and having real conversations to
Mhm,
build their confidence. So one way to build the confidence is having that one-on-one time,
mhm,
making time with them. We can't be too busy for
mhm,
our kids, okay?
mhm,
They, they develop anxieties.
mhm,
They develop anxiety in this period of their life
mhm,
because of what they don't want to deal with or what they're facing at school, and they don't want to share it with you. Okay,
mhm,
but when we have to open the door and say, you can talk to me about anything, I have been a girl like you. I mean, it was a different season, but you can talk to me. We can look for solutions together. We can do. Don't be afraid. That is
Mhm,
so important that we have that with our children. There's
mhm,
so much on parents. I know it's a lot, but we can't dismiss this part.
mhm,
Making intentional time for each child on a weekly or twice a week basis is worth it. Is
absolutely.
really worth it.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can tell my mouth is just scrunched up over here because I want to address something and I want to address something in love. Okay. Um, First of all, I'm going to put this up that Queen Kathy said. I'm going to address something.
Queen, okay, I'll
I
let you
juggled
address
two
it now.
kids through all of that. It wasn't easy. They are years apart and did different activities that helped them manage. Yeah, yeah. I bet. Yeah. I don't think it's ever easy whether you have one or more, more than one. If you have a two-parent house or you sing, it's complicated. I want to address this really quickly. This is what I need. Okay. This is what we need. And you all know that we love engaging with any kind of people that are sound minded and respectful here in this platform. Okay. And we watch things that we talk about because they are very near and dear to our hearts sometimes. So I'm going to gently say this. I need all of us in this melanated community to tell our children that they are beautiful, their skin is beautiful, their hair is beautiful, they are loved, and they are perfect just how God made them. It is very hard as parents, as melanated parents, to entrust our children to other people that do not necessarily look like us or care about our well being. And that goes for adults that are sending their other children that don't look like ours to school. Our children are to know that they are valued and highly valued every day and all day. And we have no business looking like anybody but ourselves. And that's all I'm going to say with that. Thank you for sharing that, Queen Betty. I'm going to leave it at that. That's some bullying I will not accept. This is. Mm-mm. So I'm glad she's well rounded, like you said. I'm glad that she's seen as a beautiful individual. And that's how we all should be seen. None of us should have to go somewhere and feel like we don't belong because of how God made us. So I'm glad that that's her experience where she is well rounded and she has decent friends. That is how it should go for all of us. Our children should not be afraid to go to school and their biggest fear is the color of their skin or the texture of their hair. And if there is something going on with that, that is to be discussed and highly addressed to protect our children. But God bless all the children, regardless of race, creed, color, ethnicity, all that jazz. God bless them all. And I do mean that. I'm going to land my plane there. Go ahead, Queen.
Hey, that is enough. Yeah.
I'm sorry to me to get deep. Y'all save some money for
No,
school.
no, 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 no,
Don't,
no.
don't
We're
buy.
talking about back to school. We're talking about preparing children emotionally, preparing them physically, and unfortunately, this is what some of the children are having to deal with. But next time, I will say to this: why? I would also say, why do you look like that? Why do you look like that? I look like this, and why do you also look like that? Why is your hair like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because the first human being that was created was definitely not. Okay. The other part I want to talk about
Yes.
is this. You know what I mean? The other part that I also want to bring up is this. Some parents have expectations of their children. And I'm not talking about reasonable expectation, but expectations of my daughter needs to be this size and look that way and be great that way. So some parents, I am sorry that it's a parent, some parents will put their children on diet pills because they're probably too curvy.
Mhm.
They push their children to do so much sports so that they will lose weight. They starve their children. And if the children don't fit the mold of the kind of
Mhm.
child they want it to be, this is real.
Mhm.
This is real. I'm encountering these. If these children don't align to what mom's expectation is, they are discriminated against in the home.
Mhm. Mhm.
In the home. And that is another thing we need to be careful about. Every child is unique. Not every child will be like a pencil.
Mhm.
And yet, every child is beautiful.
Mhm.
Curvy women are beautiful. I know I am. Curvy women are beautiful. We are all made to fit a certain way. We are made a certain way. If I become as slender as Angelina, you will find me really sickly. You will. Everybody's not meant to be that. She is beautiful as she is right now. She's
I'm getting big.
very beautiful. Her clothes fit her well. So am I. So is that other person. And so is that other person. We are all not meant to be the same. Your child was made to be something and to bring a certain solution and to reach a particular group of people. Please, let's stop making some of our kids feel like a parent must see the uniqueness in every child and nurture everything they are. Our job is to keep them healthy, is to keep them well rounded, is to keep them confident, is to keep them loved, is to keep them protected. So whilst they're struggling so much outside the home, let the home be a safe haven for these kids.
Mhm.
For these kids. Having said that, if you're a parent and you're divorced and you're dating other people, protect your children around the people you're dating in the home.
Mhm.
In the old time, I'll say protect your girls around the boyfriends you're bringing. But right now, protect your children, whether it be boyfriends, whether it be girlfriends, because there's all these same sex things going on. Protect your kids at home. Don't be so in love that they are right and your children is wrong, and your children is a bad girl, your child is a bad boy. No. Listen. One of the key things that parents need to do is to listen. Listen to that child. I will share this. And may their souls rest in peace, my parents. Queen, I loved the keyboard and I love the violin. So I started,
Mhm.
my mother enrolled me in that extracurricular activities where I had all that. And then I had a private tutor who was teaching one of the high schools near us and was really great to teach me the keyboard. And I loved it. It was 2 evenings a week and I was doing very well. But this man started touching me in the wrong places. And I went home and told my mother. And I'm so thankful. She listened. She stopped it immediately, didn't enroll me in any extracurricular activity with anybody again. And she attacked the man herself. I'm not saying she's right, but she attacked the man herself and then reported him. Have you had? I mean, we watch it in movies. I've heard about it. I see it. I've dealt with it. Where an adult is messing with a child, they tell mom, they tell dad, and they don't listen. So what business have we attacking the outsiders outside the home when right in the house we are not protecting these kids?
Mm-hmm.
These things are traumatizing these children.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing back to school or we're doing children?
I think we're doing it all.
Because seriously, it affects their learning.
Mm-hmm.
It affects their social relationships. It affects their future. It affects them in more ways than we can imagine. One of the things parents must do is to listen and listen in between the lines. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, listen with your discernment. Watch and listen
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you are there
Mm-hmm.
for these kids. Okay.
One more question. What about PTA, PTO, PTA, PTA, PTA? That is a good thing to get into. If you're not involved and in tune with what's going on, there is a problem. You know, PTA meetings are very important. And everything takes up your time, but it's very important. So make sure we're doing that. Um, yeah, make sure we're doing that. And what you said something about. I'm reading this.
I didn't even think that you meant anything like she loved school and couldn't wait to get back there. There was a one-time incident and the kids are kind to her. That comes from their home. I was bullied at school almost every day, but it was by those who like me. What's the excuse? By those who like me. What does that even mean? The people who like me bullied me.
No, who look like me.
Ah,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
I missed the word. Those who
yeah.
look like.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I know that it started out because I did apologize. I want to make sure everybody knows that when I shared Queen Betty's comment, I was not talking to her at her about the situation. I just wanted to share what she was talking about to give reference to what I was
Right,
commenting
right.
on. So yeah, yeah. And school board meetings, PTA and school board meetings, so important. When you were talking about, the weight thing and the diet, the dieting, that's something that's important when it comes to what they're feeding our children. Again, I don't know what y'all ate in Ghana, but I know they cooked the cafeteria ladies. They were cafeteria ladies. They cooked. They were cooks. They were cooks, and they cooked food. They cooked real food, and now they're just popping stuff in microwave. I don't know what they're doing behind them lunch lines, but it's a lot of processed foods. So board meetings, PTA meetings, these are where you're going to get. I don't want to get into this either, but when it comes to election times locally and who's running for your school boards, those things are important because
Mm,
of what's being taught in our schools,
mm.
what's being presented in our schools, what's being omitted in our schools, what's being where our children are being fed. All those things are very important, so you have to be involved. And I know it is hard. There is no other way to say it. It is complicated to be a parent, whether you have just one or more than one. It's complicated. One parent household, two parent household. It's complicated. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, they mean that. They mean that. How do you juggle that as a full-time mom and employee? Yeah, when do you find time? We need moms back in the homes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is so important. I'm glad you said that. We need moms back in the home, maybe working just part time so we can attend to more important meetings. I agree with that. I
Queen, do you know one of the things that is wrong right now? The things you're placing values on, or let me say our values, a lot of these were things we are valuing are misplaced. I know every parent loves their child, right? But the reasons moms are not at home as much anymore is
Let's
that
hear it.
is gone, single familyhood, right? We and it goes back to my passion. We are entering marriages wrongly, choosing wrongly. I'm not saying mistakes will not happen. I tell you on all authority, I am divorced. And I can tell you on all authority, I knew I wasn't supposed to go there. I just didn't listen to me. Not anybody else, but me inside me. Sometimes we know, but we are driven wrongly. We are in a hurry to become wives, forgetting that when we become wives, the husband we choose is also a father. Mistakes, genuine mistake happens. People change. I'm not I'm not talking about the exceptions. So now the family system, which is my passion, is suffering. We are marrying our way instead of God's way. Listen, and I'm not afraid to say this on social media. Marriage was created by somebody. Okay. There is no way I would take my car to another car dealership, whether it's a Honda, whether it's a Toyota. I will not take my Toyota to a Honda dealership. I will not. If I need it to be properly taken, I'll take it to the dealer, the manufacturer's dealer. We've taken marriages and we're doing it our way, and we are not consulting whoever created it. He has a blueprint. We are not following it. Let me walk away from there because that's not the forum. Now we have single mothers. Now we are living above our means. 90% of us. We want the big houses. We want everything in the house. And there's nothing wrong with it. So now we both, even if it's a two, we both have to work so much to keep up appearances and keep up with the Joneses. Now, our children, raising our children as a woman, a career woman. I want to go to work. I went to school all these years. I want to work. So I don't want to stay home. So there's so many factors why mom is not at home anymore. But if mom could work for herself as a career woman and be able to raise her children and be able to have help at home, real help. In Ghana, we have housekeepers and we have nannies who live in our home. We do. We pay them. They help us with home stuff, household stuff, and they help us with the children. But then when we come home, we don't have to do a whole lot of things. I had it when I was in Ghana. Not everybody can still afford it.
I want one. I want a house.
America is really expensive. It's really expensive in America. You understand what I'm saying? But there's so many factors. And I say to this, being a therapist, learning, studying psychology, knowing the impacts of separation, separating children from parents, having learned the impacts. If I knew then what I know today, I'd rather sit at home, wear those rags if I have to, wear the wigs, put that scarf on my head, and make sure that my child get the foundation they need to be very emotionally, psychologically, fully developed with mommy at home. If I knew then what I know now, So if there is, and I tell V anytime, don't put peak home care first over your children. Work from home, do whatever. That's why you probably are in my life. Do whatever. If your children need you, please attend to them. We can do this from home. We can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do this because we don't understand the effects we have on our children when we are with them, when they need us. And we are losing it pursuing careers to suit ourselves, pursuing greener pastures to suit ourselves. I gotta write this book, The Motherless Child and the Childless Mother. I have to I have to finish those books, the story of immigration. I have to write this book. But the reality is this: our children are affected because somebody was not at home. And so we need moms at home. It's just for the first few years. The first 10 years, have those children and be with them the first 10 years. And after that, go back and build. These days, there's so many ways of building from home. But the children we are bringing into the world, the future we are seeing is in our children. What investments are we making in them right now to ensure that they become those holistic adults? A lot of men are boys, can't marry, can't keep a home, and we blame them. What about us? We raise them. How are we raising our men? What investments are we putting in them? Feeding them, buying them clothes, giving them shelter, and that's it. I love you.
We did it, y'all. We did it. We did it again. But was it not a good conversation? Don't you feel like you got some stuff to think about with these children? It looks like school's in session for all of us. It's time for all of us to learn and just do better. We can't have, I mean, we can have regrets, but here we are now, and we have these children. Uh, Ours, his, hers, theirs, ours. They all need covering. They all need guidance. So it looks like that was what that conversation was about. They're back in school, but now as parents, guardians, grandparents, aunts, uncles, let's be intentional in finding ways to balance things out for these children, so they're not, like Queen Kathy said, in the streets, being raised by the streets. Let's make some changes. And if we do it collectively, even just having conversations with our neighbors, if I could show up for a Pike High School play, I could show up for a PTA meeting and just give a suggestion. I could vote for the school board. I could vote and see who's on the school board for these children. We small steps can make big changes. So thank you so much, Queen Bay. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. You all are so open and honest, and your insight's so amazing. And you really keep us going in the conversation. So I'd like to blame some of y'all for being backseat drivers and steering us into different topics. I'm just joking. But you all do steer us in the right direction as far as giving insight and just having a good time. Having a good time sharing this information. It is important. They all are our children, and they're going to be grown. And you see who's running the world. These people are crazy, and these people have children, okay? And they have grandchildren. So let's get our children together to where they can stand on their own 2 feet.
Right.
In school just to get an A on a test, but they have life lifelong lessons being learned about emotions, about friendship, about accountability, about responsibility, about success. It's not just about a report card. These are their lives, and they spend the majority of their youth, all of their youth, where? In school. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, Queen. I'll let you take us out, Queen. We were an hour late. We an hour over. Take us out. Oh,
You know,
before you do. So we got. I'm sorry. We got. I want to tell you all. Something happened last week where we had a strike on YouTube or whatever it was. It was a notification. So we're being very cautious about what we share as far as media shares. So I will tell you that if you look at the top of the comment section, the Gaia link, the Gaia video link for the weekend is in there. It's also in the description. It's also on our website, peakwellnesshour.com, under the weekend watch. This one is talking about simplicity parenting. And just talking about how to just get back to the norms as far as interacting with our children. So I'm not going to play the preview because I don't know what's going on, but I don't want us to get in trouble and our information be blocked just because I'm sharing a quick snippet. So, and that's their right. So we'll be respectful, but go over to Gaia, go over to our website and you can get that link and check that out and see what you think about it. Even if you don't
you
have
want to
children.
put the website information on here?
Yep, it's at the very top in the comment section. It's at the very, very top, but I'm going to put it in here again. And I'll let you take us out. Go ahead. You waiting on me?
Okay. So, family.
We're having fun, y'all.
I know that a lot of the time, a lot of us want our children to be lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses, pharmacists, counselors, therapists. We have dreams and hopes for our children. So many families will do their very best to give them the academics they need. I'm not questioning that. But they need more than academics. School doesn't teach wisdom, school gives knowledge. The application of knowledge, the effective application of knowledge is what wisdom is. Okay, that's wisdom, the effective application of knowledge. Okay, it doesn't teach a lot of the time emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, life, situations, circumstances teach us that and help us to develop. Okay, we owe it to our children to make sure that they are well rounded. Okay, they are kind children. Okay, they are thoughtful children. Okay, they're intelligent children. Okay, they're getting emotionally matured. Okay, the responsibility of parenting is huge. And if we ourselves are not fully developed and we don't even understand who we are, what our role is, and we are not even applying wisdom, then how do we impact our children? It's back to school year. A child is going to be bullied by your child. I'm sorry to say. What are you teaching them about bullying? What conversations are you having with your children? Whether they're the one who are the bullies or the ones who are not. Recently, I watched a video where a young man pranked a young lady that he was taking her to prom. She agreed. She spent almost 4,000 only to find out it was a prank. Why? Only to find out the impact that had on that young lady. She had to take the young gentleman to court, and thank God he had a little bit of wisdom to see where he was wrong and apologized. But these are some of the things that are happening in our schools. Let's make time to have conversations. It is tough. Parenting is tough. So kudos to every parent. Kudos. Community, if we had community. I remember growing up when we come home from school and mom is not there, she already told us, go to this woman's house. She's home. We'll go to the woman's house, she'll feed us, she'll make sure we do our homework. Same way when she's not home, my mother is home. They worked it out in such a way that they run their errands on shifts to when we are home. So there's always one mother at home. Have that support system. I know there's after school care who can pick up your child if for some reason you are not able to leave work like when you were planning on. Who can you call on? Build that community. It takes a village to raise these kids. Make sure these are people you trust and you know you can count on. Okay. So thank you for having this time spending this time with us. We were talking about back to school, but all these things go into it as well. Preparing them always. If we didn't go by the script that we had. I know I didn't,
No.
but it's important. So we've had this conversation. We're wishing you the school year, the children, a great and exciting school year. Have fun, learn hard, make friends, enjoy everything, and just enjoy being a child at school. Parents, don't stress too much. Enjoy the journey as well.
Yes.
Because very soon these children will be grown and gone. So enjoy the ride and ask for help when you need it. We love you, appreciate you. Have an amazing school year. Thank you.
Peace.